I am so excited to welcome this feature to our stage. Let me tell you a little bit about her. So, Ela Barton is a queer, Black, and Filipino poet and artist living in Seattle, Washington. She is a 5-time finalist of the Seattle Poetry Grand Slam, which is an awesome, huge event. I know, I loved it, I miss it. And the first woman to win Jack McCarthy's Evergreen Invitational in 2011. In 2008, Barton placed 23 out of 72 at the Women of the World Poetry Slam, and in 2013 placed 16 out of 72 at the Individual World Poetry Slam. In 2014, Barton was placed first in the Rain City Slam Championship, earning her a spot on the first Rain City Slam national team. At the National Poetry Slam 2014, the Rain City Slam placed 7th in the nation. I know. Barton has taught creative writing and performance poetry at BENT, a queer writing institute. Ella has been featured on National Public Radio and CITR 101.9, a Canadian radio show hosted by J.C. Peters, SeattleGayScene.com, Button Poetry, EverydayFeminism.com, and King 5 Seattle News. Her work has been featured on 4UOunceBachelors.com. I'm sorry, that's what slowed me down. I was like, oh, hashtag. And Adrian, a poetry journal of queer women by Sibling Rivalry Press. She is founder of the Rain City Poetry Slam. And I love this. This is a great quote. Barton was described in Seattle Gay News as unapologetic, smart, and sharp-tongued. Nothing seemed immune to her poignant observations. Author, poet, and activist Tara Hardy said, Ela Barton is the queer echo to the first whisper of revolution. Backlash to cynicism shall have you believing in yourself again. Please welcome Ela Barton to our stage. Woo!
I should have told you not to read that, because that's like a lot to live up to, because I can get up here and just fart, and then like that would have been it. Right? So anyway, hi Eugene, how y'all doing? Awesome. So I noticed during the open mic with these really awesome poets that y'all were really quiet, and I hate that. Okay, so I'm gonna need y'all to make yes, like that. Do that, all right? So we're gonna practice very quickly. I'm gonna use a couple minutes to do that, all right? So like when you feel something, you can snap. So can we all snap just to get our finger? Oh, you guys can do it. Okay, great. All right, so, or you can stomp your feet. You can do that. And then like my favorite thing, because it's like super awkward, is you can grunt. I swear to God, you can do this and it's totally good, right? So like everybody grunt. Okay, and then the other cool thing is that you can also say your favorite word, right? Like, so think of your favorite word, whatever it is, and then at the count of 3, we're all gonna say it out loud at me, okay? And I'm gonna say mine at you, okay? You guys ready? All right, 1, 2, 3, vulva! All right, so good. So we're used to that. All right, great, awesome. I'm gonna do some poems. You guys doing okay so far? Okay, great. In Aspen, Colorado, the lowest priced single-family home is on the market for $559,000. It's located in a trailer park. So while I'm delivering pizzas, kissing hands decorated with diamonds bigger than the holes in my pockets for a $2 tip, adding that to my $8.67 an hour, hoping that the total of today's smiles might add up to something resembling my rent, someone in Aspen, Colorado is slumming it in a trailer that weighs more than the paychecks that I've seen in a lifetime. So while I'm out delivering pizzas I can't afford, I play That's My House, and That's My Car. And when a wad of cash is flashed in my direction, I play That's My Money. Hide my drool and spit behind a customer service smile, hoping that my eyes don't tell my story of hungry, of tired, of I hope that wad means a tip that's at least the cost a gallon of gas. I walk up the stairway and disappear my collar into the foundation of a house with more rooms than residents, with a plaque for the address. And that Beamer in the driveway is our second, because the last one just wasn't fancy enough. And the doormat, well, the doormat is a funny story, but totally worth the money we spent, so we don't drag unfortunate and poor all over our happy, happy housey. When people walk up to my house, they ask me if it's in a safe neighborhood, arm their cars, and look around for the address. And the doormat, well, the doormat is a funny story. I didn't eat for a couple of days because, well, I didn't want the threshold to echo my pockets. People don't play my game in my house. Instead, they're more entertained with how I'm able to survive. They squint at my television, remark on how the walls make them feel like they're in a coffin, and invite me out and offer to pay to wash the guilt out of their mouths, to clean themselves of the filth that they've seen I live in every day. And before sleeping in their warm mausoleum homes, they thank their wealthy stars to not be people like us. People like us that work overtime all the time, that spend 2 days at home and call it a vacation, that have no idea what 9 to 5 means, and the only office we know is the one we clean. We don't know the right people because they've never wanted to meet us. Because while everyone was out networking, we were working, mastering the art of yes sir, of have a nice day, of how to hold ourselves back from grabbing a customer by their dry clean shirt and saying no. It's not your fault I hate my job. It is your fault for forgetting that I'm human. People like us are human. So naturally, we'll always want. So we look more valuable than our yearly income. So we'll work any hour until any hour, work under the table or on top of them, and call our happiness our hobbies. So we never lose focus. So go ahead. Don't date me because I don't have a real job. Build your condos on the borders of our neighborhoods to remind us of our goals, to remind us that we'll never have enough, but just enough to keep sleepwalking in this American-made dream. A woman opens the door to my imaginary home, holds her child back from me as if my class was contagious, and hands me her payment. She says, "Keep the change." I wave the $2 back at her and I say, "Thanks. I'm saving up for a trailer in Aspen." Thank you. All right. Are y'all doing okay? Okay, good. All right, great. So this next poem I'm going to do, is anybody here from Arizona? Oh, crap. We'll talk later. I promise. It'll be fine. Okay. In Arizona, law enforcement are allowed to ask for proof of legal presence in the U.S. if there is any reasonable suspicion. Now tell me, what makes a human reasonably suspicious of not belonging to one of the world's most ethnically diverse nations? What gives anyone the right to outline my features, sample my skin color, and call it illegal? They call me an invader until I'm proven free, telling me because I'm brown I'll need proper ID. Consider this my documentation. First-generation American citizen, but my family has always worked for you. Find our green cards sewn into your plantations. Find our papers built into your pineapples, your sugar canes, your railroads, your cotton, your gold. Identify my race. Tell me where I come from before I begin speaking, then tell me to go back there. Mark me a Native American, a Mexican, or something mixed with Oriental, like my uncle might have been a rug. Consider this my documentation. You've cut my ancestors' feet at the ankles to keep them from leaving. Identify me as invisible until a crime is committed. Then identify me as the criminal. Then tell me this is simply for my safety, then beat me. Then tell me I'm safe in Arizona while politicians pose for pictures with neo-Nazi leaders. Tell me it's as simple as not breaking the law. Have you ever been pulled over with a white passenger and watched as law enforcement questioned their safety? Have you ever called the cops and they never came? Have you ever called the cops and became the criminal? Senator Pierce, when the Nazi Party was crowning you a great statesman, did you feel heroic? Did you see Superman in your reflection? Is it the way his uniform and you wave red, white, and blue over Arizona streets? Superman is from Krypton, Senator Pierce. He was an alien. No one ever asked him for his ID because he was smart enough to be born white. Welcome to Arizona. The Grand Canyon State welcomes whites only, labeling people of color guilty until proven otherwise. But we are not new to this. We've been asked to deep throat your blaming fingers before. The Exclusion Acts, repatriation, Proposition 187, repatriation, Japanese internment, repatriation. It's when we stop working for you and start working for ourselves is when we no longer belong. It's when we start standing on our feet instead of falling to our knees. And while refried bean-smeared swastikas decorate Capitol buildings in Phoenix, legal brown people are being marked reasonably suspicious in a place they once thought of as his home. Or is it all for revenge, Senator Pierce? Is it because an illegal immigrant shot your son? Would I feel safer in Arizona if he was shot by a white man? Thank you. Thank you. Y'all are nice. Y'all are nice people. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God. Is it? Are we stretching? Is that what's happening? Are we stretching? Okay. Oh, so glad that we were able to have a stretch in the middle of the feature. I love that. Thank you so much. Oh, my back is killing me. I have chapbooks for sale. And they're $5. I know I'm practically giving them away, but I'm not. I will go talk to you back there, and we'll exchange the things. And I would love consensual hugs. Okay, so just ask first. All right, cool. Because I might not smell right. You might not smell right. Like we are in the Pacific Northwest. Like that is a thing. Okay, so let's talk about it first. Processing is also a thing in the Pacific. Okay, so we're gonna go. Okay. Whew. Every Sunday morning, Mikey wakes up early to watch the games at the park. The field is a Scrabble board. 60 to 85-year-old athletes handling alphabet tiles like Harlem Globetrotters. This was not like the chess games you see a few tables over. The breathless pausing between the knocks and knights and spawns, the clicking and ticking of clocks between silent strategy. No, this was a cipher of the elderly. 11-point grandmas turned 15-point grand masters. These were versed veterans of verbs, weathered warrior wordsmiths attaching scores to skilled combinations of random letters. His older brother, Andrew, took him to his first game on his birthday. He gave him a dictionary. On the front flap, he wrote, "This is your first weapon. Choose your words carefully. Love always, Andrew." It was the perfect size for Mikey's back pocket. Mikey swore in it like the truth, became the park bench's law enforcement, catching phony words and taking away turns like a Scrabble sheriff. He found his language, one letter tile at a time, discovering words will tell you what they are if you LISTEN listen, 6 points. But to listen requires you to be SILENT silent, 6 points. Just rearrange the letters. Your ears with the same letters can become the inlets to words if you enlist them, 6 points. 2 days later, Mikey found a letter from Andrew to a friend. It said words like John, 8 points. Like, 7 points. Awkward, 13 points. Gay, 7 points. Do you like me back? 31 points. Mikey never said a word. 4 days later, Andrew was found hung by his own belt in his bedroom. Belt, 6 points. Suicide, 10 points. When the ambulance removed Andrew from his room, Mikey found another letter. It wasn't in Andrew's writing. It said words like Andrew, 10 points. Fuck, 7 points. Faggot, 9 points. Burn, 7 points. Hell, 9 points. I'm going to tell everyone, 33 points. Mikey never said a word. At Andrew's gravesite, Mikey played Scrabble. He played words like sorry, 8 points. Brother, 12 points. Mikey wrote his brother a letter to tell him he was sorry. He was silent. Andrew, I'm sorry that I never said I love you. I'm sorry that his word score was higher, but if you'd have listened to your heart, it would have told you he was a hater. Just rearrange the letters. Did you know that there are no perfect anagrams to suicide? All I could make was dies. You will always be my perfect anagram. My Andrew, my Wander, you warned me. Sticks and stones may break our bones, but words will never hurt you now. They've lied to us all along, Andrew. Words were our first weapon, and they can kill. I'm sorry, I never said thank you. Love always, Mikey. Thank you. All right, are y'all still here? Okay, can we shake it off just a tad, just a little bit? Okay, you're still with me though. Okay, great, awesome. I'm right there with you. Okay, I'm here. This is what I'm here for. We're here, right? Okay, great. Four. I did that one, right? Okay, great. 4. All right. So I was having a conversation with a gentleman earlier, and we were talking about breakups and how your life is just not everything that it's supposed to be when you're going through a breakup, right? Like that's just how shit is, right? And we still got to get up and do it every day, regardless, right? So that's what this poem's going to be about. By the way, I didn't become a poet because I was happy. I just wanted everybody to know that. Like, that wasn't, just in case, I just want to make sure. This is not going to go up at any point. Okay. You've come in the house. I've locked the door. You're here now. Didn't know what you were doing there. Okay, sorry. Okay, we're good? We're all good? Everybody's good? Okay, great. Just checking in. All right. I worked at a bar, but I wasn't a drinker. The morning after I found out about him, I was so sober. A noticeable sober. So sober that the colors of the table linens were deafening. The clinking of the glasses were the shattering of intricate chandeliers. The voices of the entire bar were a collection of different voices from different choirs singing to different gods. And I burned the eggs for the third time. It was brunch, busy by nature, the hum of hungover bellies and redrunks wanting something with cheese and company. Because drinking will always leave you the same way, alone and empty. And I was trying not to melt down. Because at brunch, no one cares if the woman you needed didn't need you anymore. No one cares that the stomach you've been building a nest in has been looted. No one cares if she's too selfish to let you leave. No one cares if you don't think enough of yourself to do it anyway. No one gives a shit about how fucking bright the day is through the windows when you've just taken a beating in your throat the night before. And the Bloody Marys on the patio are teeth happy. The couples toasting with mimosa eyes are blissful and numb. Here comes their third round. The older couple are still waiting on their toast that you forgot again. The silverware clings like wedding rings dropping to the floor. The stainless steel isn't shiny like it's supposed to be. You think, I know that feeling all too well. The bartender notices the rusty knives in your back. You do not tell him where you got them. He returns with a shot of tequila from the top shelf. He says, I know you don't drink, but I think this will help. You pour it directly into your skull, drowning your brain in the nectar of blue agave. Suddenly, the bar gets darker. The voices are now lonely and skewered. The glass clinks are simply drippings of last night's mistakes. The eggs are now perfectly over easy. The toast goes out to the older couple still babysitting a decaf. And at 2 p.m., when the masses disappear into their summer afternoon, your brain will start to breathe too well. The windows will warn you of all the hot colors creeping back inside your head. You'll sit at the bar. You will pull today's tips out of your pocket, and you will say, double shot of tequila, and point at the top shelf as if you've done this before. The bartender smirks with disbelief in his victory. He will pause to see if you take your order back. You will not flinch. You will not blink. He will say, I thought you don't drink. You will respond, I know, I drown. I think it'll help. All right, we're still doing okay? We're great? I have one more. How does that feel? Okay, great. Awesome. Yo, I don't want to get the organizers mad at me, so you can't do that. Because eventually I need to come back around here. So they'll be like, oh, that Ella chick that took like 2 hours? Like, fuck that. Oh, shout out to the last poet, because I didn't know I could say fuck on this mic until you did that. So wherever you are, thank you very much. Awesome. Okay, great. Oh, man. Okay, so I was a little nervous about doing this poem, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I had a conversation outside with Benny, and his advice to me was, show him your ass. So, like, I'm going to show you my ass, metaphorically. So yeah, all right. You know that new store with all the construction that replaced that bakery, restaurant, boutique, coffee shop? Well, it's open, but it's a pet grocery. The fuck is that? It was all white folks in there, you know, with their dogs and their ferrets on leashes and shit. Hella expensive if you ask me. But it was like a grocery store for pets. I don't know where they got the idea that people around here can afford groceries for their dog. Rocky eats Purina and leftovers. But ever since that new bus, train, trolley car, subway line, bike lane opened, everything has been water dripping from the electricity of the overhead wires. Like, why the fuck they take Uncle Keith's place and put in that new restaurant, bakery, bar that no one around here can afford? It's like they're poking holes on our streets to see if we will leak from them. Every time they build, they rip at our seams, never give us a minute to mourn our holy open graves. Put up a tombstone we can't afford to look at. You know, Thomas moved. Yeah, his lease ended, and the rent for his apartment rose like $300. So he moved 20 miles south, or west, or far, or away from here. He works part-time at the pet grocery now. Says the commute is worth it. Got a one-bedroom for the same price I'm paying for a studio with a broken heater my landlord is still waiting for me to pay for. It's like what we used to pay. It's like the only place that remembers us is too far to even remember how to get back here. Painting all their new buildings' colors we've been using in our artwork for years and calling it new and calling it right, making right angles of our cul-de-sac blocks, call it cleaning up. Like we were a mess. Call us a dead end, but they're not calling this a dead end anymore. The city looks like an erector set of a child that wears a suit now, with a big office on the top floor of a building so high up, he has no idea that people still live here. Do you know that people still live here? We've been living here ever since you redlined the rest of the city. We are still living, even if you didn't expect us to. The other night, we were sitting on Union, and a group of like 15 white people in little shorts were running, walking, biking down the street. Moni said it was a club. They never used to want to be here at that time of night. Moni said that Union was never the street to be on after 6 p.m. and be rich and white. But now they're running on our block when the streetlights are on. Running on our streets like they run our streets. Being seen around here like they didn't used to avoid it. It's been so quiet here lately. The silence is so thick you could use dull blades to break them open. Find the pain in our backs from carrying relics of what this used to be. Before we became worth saving. Before you tore down the boundary lines and started putting up grand opening. Open for business under new management. As if we have always been closed, unrestrained, only open for surrender. Find our music to play in their coffee shops as if to remember us fondly. It is clear we are unwanted. It is unclear where we should go. Eugene, thank you so very much.